like how this generation future is dependent, like, so everything, like wherever they go, they will perform these acts of kirtan, and they get into a good association. It's just because of Srila Prabhupada. So I was just thinking about these things, and the descending mercy comes like in different aspects. Somebody will help somebody to connect to Krishna consciousness. So this is how the whole chain of Krishna consciousness is developing. So this is a wonderful movement. So I was really surprised, like how this is my understanding. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I want to tell 2 points from the things I have heard which touched my heart about Srila Prabhupada. One thing I heard from one of the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada is that compared to many other Eastern philosophers and yogis who came to West to spread, some part of Vedic culture, Prabhupada, what sets him apart is that he didn't just come with one single thing. He entered into, like he came in contact with people who are knee-deep into like the counterculture, and taught them how to dress, how to cook vegetarian food, how to do deity worship, how to read Sanskrit. I mean, it's like a whole package. Just thinking about it, it's mind-blowing. Like he just gave an entire culture, the Vedic culture, and then gave it to people who supposedly from a material perspective, they may not be able to do it, but still he did it. It's just amazing. When I heard it, I kind of, it moved me quite a lot. So another point about Srila Prabhupada's books, which touched my heart, is that we the Bhagavad Gita book itself, it's named as Bhagavad Gita as it is. And Srila Prabhupada does give so many, for every verse he gives word-to-word translation. But in some cases, there are words in the translation which is not directly present in the, the word-to-word meaning, which it's more of a bhavartha, meaning it just takes the essence or purportic translation, which is, one cannot say it is as it is in a sense, because he takes like the essence of Bhagavad Gita and represents it in every verse, which is amazing. And the reason why he does it, what I heard, is that he instead of just taking one acharya's previous acharya's translation or the message, he combines like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Sridhara Swami, their translations, and he kind of combines everything and he emphasizes one single point, or in the purport he explains it so well. So those things are, it's very unique to Srila Prabhupada. So, and which sets his translations and the purports, apart. And even in the purport, I felt that he doesn't use like so much technical terms like the Sanskrit terms, but he explains everything in such a simple language that just take any Srila Prabhupada's book, doesn't matter it's Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, open any page and you get the essence of Krishna consciousness, which is amazing. Like you open any page and still you get the entire essence of Krishna consciousness, and it's just mind-blowing how Srila Prabhupada did it. So yeah, these 2 points touched my heart and I just wanted to convey this. Thank you.
I made an error. I need to ask Srila Prabhupada's direct disciples whether they want to say some words. Shripada Mataji, Vedavati Mataji, do you want to say some words? We'll bring the mic to you. Also, I was just reminded that since yesterday was a late night, once, whatever you, of course, we want everybody to speak, but if once you speak, then we can just keep moving, because that way we can have prasadam and wrap up, okay?
Chant with me. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurabani Pucharine Nirvishesha Sunyavade Paschatya Deshatarine. This material world is fraught with danger. Padam padam yad vid padam. Disaster may strike at any moment. Most recently, the lives of so many were lost on the beautiful island of Maui. No amount of risk management can protect us from the dangers of this world. Our only real shelter is the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, but how to get that shelter? Without the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, coming to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna is not possible. There is no higher purpose in my life than to serve you, Srila Prabhupada. I will stay true to your words. Those words spoken only by you as Krishna's transparent via medium. These original words that you have shared with us in your books are the words of the Supreme Lord. This is why you read your own books. Each word chosen by you, spoken by Krishna, is your ecstasy. May I never waver from, alter, abandon, add, delete, or minimize any instructions that you have given us. Srila Prabhupada, please bestow your causeless mercy upon me that I will one day serve you with pure devotion. Due to your mercy, I became a chanter of the holy names of God. You said once in a dream that you had that chanters can't fall down. Their names are listed back home, back to Godhead. They are in Krishna's family. It is only through chanting the holy names of the Lord that we are truly protected. I am grateful beyond words to you that I am now in Krishna's family. Recently, I have heard that Srila Prabhupada is being considered an ordinary man by even some of our more prominent devotees. It is imperative that each and every one of us fight against this trend and squash this mentality wherever it is heard. My request to all of you is, if need be, come out like a lion to destroy this Hati Mata Vaishnava Aparad. To give us Krishna, Srila Prabhupada sacrificed so much, he preached so much and gave so much. Srila Prabhupada came to America with very little money, and he received no help from his godbrothers in India. Yet Srila Prabhupada was empowered to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. No ordinary person could do this. Krishna says, for one who explains this supreme secret, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Srila Prabhupada is most dear to Krishna, therefore we surrender to him. In the early days of the movement, we used to wear our tulsi neck beads really tight around the neck, like a dog collar. We disciples of His Divine Grace were and still are proud to be His loyal and obedient dogs in the service of Krishna. I pray to always remember you, Srila Prabhupada, and never forget you. You are my spiritual father and my best friend. I pray to always serve you faithfully in this life and in the next, and for all eternity. I may no longer have the energy to serve you as I once did, but I'm holding on to your devotee, and I'm never letting go. Your aspiring daughter, Sri Padadasi.
Hare Krishna. Well, as I come to the festivals and I come to the temple, I can see that although many of you have never met Srila Prabhupada, and those of us who did only met him a little bit, still, because of his instructions and his loyalty to Krishna, his devotion, his everything good about him, people follow him because he teaches us about God, he teaches us about Krishna, he teaches us how to, like they said, how to cook, how to clean, everything. We learned everything from this little old man who came from India, and he was the father, the grandfather of everybody. And so like when I came to the festival last night, I thought, look at all these wonderful people who have come here to glorify Krishna and to glorify Srila Prabhupada, who taught us about Krishna. We would have no recollection of this philosophy. I used to get the BTG many years ago when I was a teenager in Portland, but I'd bring it home and I think, these are big words. I don't know how to say these words. But it was mostly singing and dancing that brought me. But for many of you, it's his books. And so everything he did was for Krishna. And because of that, he brought all of you. And you're all servants of Krishna. And you're all wonderful devotees. And so I thank him for that.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So day before yesterday I was also thinking, if Srila Prabhupada is like a tree, then the roots are like Krishna and the whole spiritual world. And the tree has a lot of fruits and flowers. So those fruits and flowers are the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And we are like honeybees who can take the nectar from those flowers. And those flowers are so fragrant, they have so much of fragrance, just like holy name. It goes to a long distance. Similarly, the fragrance goes to a long distance and it attracts everyone, no matter whom. No matter of any race, caste, even animals, human being, everyone. So similarly, the flower fragrance is so nice. Similarly, the holy name, the sound of the holy name is so nice. So these flowers are so amazing. These fruits and flowers who are Srila Prabhupada's disciples, that are directly showing how Srila Prabhupada was. They are directly manifestations of some of the qualities of Srila Prabhupada. So we can take examples from all of these amazing fruits and flowers of Srila Prabhupada. And I was also thinking that the honeybee is so strong, it can even go through the wood. Even it can harm anyone, like if it bites you, it will cause a huge pain. But when it goes near to a flower, what happens? It just starts taking the nectar. And in the night when the flower closes, the honeybee remains in that flower, and then in the next morning it just gives his own life to the flower, because the flower is so nectarian. Similarly, the holy name and the process given by Srila Prabhupada is so nectarian, and I wish my life be dedicated to one of those flowers, and I just give my life to those flowers. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I wanted to thank Srila Prabhupada for the family that we have here, and for me especially, the friends that I have. Our entire youth group, all the kirtan that we do, all the time we spend together. I know it's only because of what Srila Prabhupada has done. And these friendships are so strong that even outside of temple, we're always here to support each other. And I'm talking everyone in the temple, we're all here as a big support system. And I know especially for me, my friends in this temple have always supported me a lot, whether that's academically or in my spiritual life. They've always pushed me to be better. And so, I owe all of that to what Srila Prabhupada has done and his mission. And all of us after the program sitting and doing kirtan, or, yesterday throughout Janmashtami, all the incredible kirtan that we had, and we had so much fun. It was because of Srila Prabhupada. And so we owe that thank you to him. Haribol.
I'm trying to remember this specific example or something that someone had said, if someone remembers what it is, but as I explain it. But there's an example given that, a leader who tries to teach other people, that's a great task of itself. But someone who teaches someone else to go on to make other leaders themselves and other teachers themselves, that's an even bigger task. So Srila Prabhupada not only taught all of his wonderful disciples, but he also made them into their own leaders. And so we are the fruits of that it's almost like, as Prabhu was just mentioning, like a tree. There's multiple offshoots of that tree. And so we're reaping the benefits of what Srila Prabhupada has done. He spent many days and nights and years just working towards this goal. And I personally cannot imagine having gone through that. I mean, even one day of Janmashtami, I'm already dead. So, but he would just do that for years and years. He was just working tirelessly, and he was so enthusiastic and never showed signs of being tired. So that was obviously his own power, and how amazing and incredible Srila Prabhupada is.
Hare Krishna. I also have something similar to tell about Srila Prabhupada extending his mercy through his disciples. I've written this 6 days ago. Srila Prabhupada, your profound impact reverberates through the countless lives of devotees, imbuing their existence with spiritual depth and purpose that transcends ordinary understanding. Your earthly manifestation represents a rarity. You are a divine emissary with a life mission that is singularly dedicated to the global dissemination of Krishna consciousness. With unwavering commitment, you traversed continents, bridging cultures, illuminating hearts with the timeless wisdom of Krishna consciousness. And I have written this when I was studying my Bhakti Shastri course, and it was an assignment in Bhagavad Gita. There cannot really be an assignment without really talking about Srila Prabhupada when it comes to Bhagavad Gita as it is. And the question was related to describing Srila Prabhupada's mood. And this is something that I really found profoundly helpful in my spiritual journey. The disposition of Srila Prabhupada is adorned with profound humility, exemplified by his deep reverence for his spiritual predecessors, especially his guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami. Despite receiving numerous accolades for his work, Prabhupada remained devoid of pride, attributing all credit to the spiritual masters in the disciplic succession. This humble demeanor is indispensable for any devotee, as it encourages a receptive heart, recognizing the necessity of guidance from a spiritual master. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for extending your mercy through your disciples and giving us an opportunity to seek out that guidance through them.
Hare Krishna. I seek blessings of great Mahabhagavat Srila Prabhupada to speak few words about him. As few Matajis and Prabhujis mentioned about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada lived by an example, not one single aspect. There are multiple aspects about bhakti, how to cook, how to chant, how a disciple should be, how a spiritual master should be. He has given wonderful examples throughout his preaching, teachings, and writings. And the biggest treasure he has given is through his books. I believe usually in the material world, when we get some treasure, when we use it, we get exhausted. Like at some point of time, it will become nil. But if this treasure is used and it can be extended to next generations, and it can be definitely enlarged, I believe. And this is the greatest treasure. As many many devotees talked about Prabhupada's teachings, the purports, the analogies, examples he has given are really wonderful. And I really like the Prabhupada's attitude. If he wants to call someone as fool, rascal, he simply calls rascal or fool. He doesn't hesitate in calling them. Wonderful attitude, and as I mentioned, Srila Prabhupada set as an example how a disciple should be, and to Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and how a spiritual master should be. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you very much. We are so fortunate to come into this mission, and I believe I'm part of that mission. Hopefully, give me strength to not only me, to every single devotee who are on this path to move forward and continue this mission. Hari Bol. Bol.
Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishnaprishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desharan Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So among so many wonderful qualities Srila Prabhupada has, I would like to stress two of them about his faith in the holy name. I was hearing a devotee speak, and he was mentioning that there's a conversation between Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Prabhupada's godbrother, and Bon Maharaj. And Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was speaking to Bon Maharaj, saying that, you went to the Western world, Srila Prabhupada went to the Western world. You are very knowledgeable in scriptures. He is very knowledgeable in scriptures. You chanted the holy name there. Srila Prabhupada chanted the holy name there. You did everything the same. But Srila Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj was successful, but you are not. And he answered his own question, saying that because he had full faith in the holy name. That was Srila Prabhupada's. And while traveling in Jaladuta, he wrote in his diary that, especially the verse where he comes, you have given me the title of Bhaktivedanta. Now you have to fulfill the purport of Bhaktivedanta. I will have full faith in your holy name. That's it, I don't know anything else. So that shows the conviction of Srila Prabhupada on the power of the holy name. That is one of the most, and he was today hearing Indra Maharaj was, offering, and he stressed the same thing. He says his life and soul is the holy name, and because of Srila Prabhupada's faith in the holy name. The other thing was the absolute non-compromise on Krishna Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada was having a massage given by Hari Sauri Prabhu, and he opened a letter, and devotee was reading, his secretary was reading a letter, and a professor in the university, he was commenting on giving his feedback on the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and he was saying, the book is very nicely written, but there is one problem. Each and every page Krishna Bhakti is stressed. Prabhupada slammed his hand on the mat and said, that's the point. That's the point. He got it. So his unwavering, his spiritual master said, no compromise. My spiritual master did not compromise, nor did I, and neither should my disciples compromise. So his absolute, loyalty, you say, or faith in Krishna Bhakti, and what the Acharyas have stressed in the Parampara, his conviction, faith in that is absolutely mind-blowing. At least in my case, if someone comes, I'm like a candle flame. If some wind comes, small wind, I just go here and there. But Prabhupada is like a blazing fire. If wind comes, it will just blaze even more. So that's Srila Prabhupada. That's his conviction of the holy name and Krishna Bhakti. And the association of devotees. Prabhupada has created, we always say that Prabhupada has created a house in which the entire world can live. That is our International Society for Krishna Consciousness. As in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, we have Lord Shiva himself, we have the Prachetas, basically the entire fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Each and every one of these personalities, they aspire for the association of devotees. They keep saying, oh Lord, please give me your association of your devotees. Please give me association of devotees. And Prabhupada has given the association of devotees by creating such a wonderful place. And Narottam Das Thakur says a very beautiful line, Tandera charana sevi bhakta sane vas janame hoi ei abhilash. One must worship the lotus feet of the Acharya and live within the society of devotees. And what is the result of having, doing these two? Thus, one's endeavor to cross over nescience or material world will sure be successful. He basically gives a formula to cross over the material ocean is to be in the association of devotees and worship the spiritual master. And Prabhupada has given all the paraphernalia, all the setup, all the structure, everything is there, and we have to just take it. So, thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada. This one thing, because we have to be transparent to Srila Prabhupada, especially on his appearance day. Prabhupada has tirelessly, being only awake 2 hours in the entire day, and translating all throughout the night. He has tirelessly, wherever he goes, he doesn't have jet lag. This is not a word called jet lag in his dictionary. Wherever he goes, he just adjusts the time to local time and schedule just, the same schedule. He has tirelessly translated the magnum opus Srimad Bhagavatam, he translated Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many wonderful books he has given, but yet I don't have the taste for, so I'm not able to reciprocate. Prabhupada has given so much, but I'm so ungrateful that I'm not able to take, reciprocate with Prabhupada. So I request Shri Prabhupada, his disciples, and all the wonderful Vaishnavas assembled here to kindly bless me so I can read Shri Prabhupada's books more, have a taste for to read his books and for the holy name. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, I want to seek all the blessings of all the Vaishnavas to glorify Srila Prabhupada. First of all, I want to express my humble gratitude, thanks to Srila Prabhupada for giving his wonderful instructions. And his own life is an example. In the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a significant section is devoted about the different descendants. Like in the Bhagavatam, there is the different descendants of Manu, and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the devotional tree of Sri Chaitanya is explained. And I always wondered, why so many names mentioned? What is the purpose? And then the realization came that there is so much to learn from these devotees, from their lives. It is to help us. And Srila Prabhupada himself is a descendant of that tree, right? And he extended the branches of that tree all over, right? And I really like Damodar Kirtan Prabhu's example of that tree example. It is extending that mercy to everyone and connecting us back to Krishna through the branches, twigs, etc. Right? And as long as we are connected, every single branch, every single twig will receive nourishment. The moment that twig separates, it withers up and goes away. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada's life is a wonderful example. In 1922, he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. In 1933, he received formal initiation. He had accepted Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj as his guru in 1922 itself, but he received formal initiation in 1933. In 1944, he started Back to Godhead magazine. In 1955, he accepted sannyas order. In 1966, he started ISKCON. And in 1977, he left this world. 11 years, like that. But in the span of those time, how many devotees? Just if you calculate between 1966 and 1977, how many temples were established? More than 108 temples, farming communities. How many devotees? And I look back in my last 11 years. Right? What have I done? Right? So, we cannot even imagine, or I personally cannot even imagine, the contributions Srila Prabhupada has made. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Yajna Dana Tapah Karma Natyajyam Karyam Evayat Yajno Dana Tapah Chaiva Pavanani Manishinam. That acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance, right? These should not be given up. These purify even the great souls. And Srila Prabhupada always performed the yajna. Which yajna? The Sankirtan yajna, the Yoga Dharma for this age. he always performed charity, the ultimate charity of giving Krishna consciousness to everyone, right? And the austerities that he performed, like we heard, he didn't sleep more than a couple of hours. So all for our sake. And this is the perfect example. So we can emulate that. We can try to follow in his footsteps, try to do something. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the mango, king of fruits. Why is mango the king of fruits? One can relish the mango even when it is unripe and even when it is ripe. Our devotional life is also like that. When we begin, we are like unripe mangoes. But as we mature in devotional service, it ripens and it becomes more and more tastier. The sweetness condenses more and more. So every stage of devotional life is relishable. And the charity we have to perform is to share this with everyone. And the sacrifice we have to perform is to chant the holy names. So I thank all the devotees for keeping me in your association. Please continue to keep me as your servant. And we all can thank Srila Prabhupada for giving this wonderful, wonderful Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, as we have heard enough, means a lot of things, and there are definitely inspiring things to learn from Srila Prabhupada's life. I just have 2 points which strike me. First is, I'm grateful for the knowledge which he has bestowed us, which helps us, our thoughts to get stimulated at why we are on this planet, what's our purpose, and we are literally not the center of the universe. And the second point which strikes me right now is the demonstration of the quality of surrender, which we hear a lot. But it's actually once you believe in the purpose, irrespective of how daunting the task is, if you give your heart and soul and if you have faith in the words of the Master you have accepted, you can actually get it done. So, yeah, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Would any other Matajis or Prabhus like to speak anything? No? Okay. So, I think, I always found Srila Prabhupada Appearance Day to be the most kind of blissful day, just because it's not non-stop craziness going on throughout the day. You can just meditate on what you've received. Something that I heard, there are many things to say about Srila Prabhupada, and like Ashish Prabhu said, we've heard some things. But one thing that I heard, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that he said his Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said, I found you in a dark place and I've made you fortunate. And then Srila Prabhupada looked at all his disciples and said, I found you in a dark place and made you fortunate. Now you go out and make others fortunate. So like a lot of devotees were saying, that we're grateful to Srila Prabhupada's direct disciples. And as I heard my spiritual master Ramapad Maharaj say, that in the next 10 years there's going to be a lot of tears shed, because if some folks are going to leave the planet. So like you were all saying, we should appreciate Srila Prabhupada's personal example as demonstrated by his disciples, and honor and respect them and serve them like they did so nicely of their own spiritual master. Sacrifice worth it. I was yesterday listening about how to celebrate in a prison cell. Where did Srila Prabhupada celebrate first Janmashtami? In the Jaladuta, amongst all these trials and tribulations, just to serve the locals on the ship. So the point that was being made was that we must endeavor to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Initially it's not going to be automatic for most of us. So, but the struggle is worth it. And Srila Prabhupada guarantees it, and so do the Acharyas. So we should just follow the process, like Sripada Mataji and Devotee Mataji and others were saying. It's very simple. So just have faith, continue in association with devotees and appreciate devotees. Srila Prabhupada was once saying on the Dhruva Maharaj pastime that Dhruva Maharaj was being elevated to the spiritual world on a Viman, spiritual airplane. And then he was going up and he said to the Vishnudutas or his accompaniments, "Where's my mother?" And then he looks and sees his mother coming up. And Srila Prabhupada looked at his disciples and he said, "May you bring me back into the spiritual world too." So, let's take it seriously and sincerely and try the process. And give each other strength. Where we find weakness, give strength. Where we find success, appreciate success. And like that, like example. So thank you very much. Yesterday there was a police that showed up at the end, and devotees were happy. So thank you for doing all that. Maybe we'll do it a little bit less intensely next year, but I think you all worked really hard. I really like the spirit of cooperation and the sense of humor. I pulled Madhavai Prabhu's leg multiple times yesterday with a play, but great success. So I'm surprised you didn't get the message. You weren't to shave your beard. How are you going to do the Kamsa part 2? No, we have it recorded. So thank you very much. I think it was a wonderful Janmashtami festival and a perfect example, like Vedavati Mataji said, of following the process. We didn't make something up. Everything that happened on the stage from our group was bona fide. The kirtans were with faith in the holy name. The cooking was with a desire to please Lord Krishna. The service was likewise. And I think from what I heard from the general public, they really appreciated the spirit of cooperation. So Harivilas Prabhuji told me a long time ago, he said, the general public will not understand the deep philosophy of our Shastras initially. Of course, within them is the empowerment to understand that. We know that. But he said what they will appreciate is a mood of cooperation, collegiality, and good organization. Those 3 things, initially. And then once they come in, they need other things to sustain them, ultimately, obviously. But I saw a lot of nice example of cooperating and appreciating each other's services, trying to do the best we can, understanding we have limitations too. So thank you very much, and please continue to serve and appreciate the devotees and their great efforts. And maybe they carry us back to the spiritual world along the guidelines of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Agyantimiradantsya Jananjala Shlakaya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pacharane Rishai Shunyavadi Pashtataya Deshatare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. Thank you very much for your service. Please honor Prashad.